Hello, visionary, and welcome to our community. Today's video is talking about human design truth, what's happening, and how to navigate it. So we're going to be looking at the reality of today's world and why it's so important to know about human design and to understand how to operate correctly and how to use this intel for your greatest good and for your, for lack of a better word, survival. So just give me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me okay in the chat, and then we will dive into the intel for today. So I would love to know if y'all can see me, and also let me know who's here. Hey, Vince. Hi. So one of the things I said, because it's 3:33 here on Pacific Standard Time, and it's Friday, so we're having some fun. So I wanted to ask you guys what you got, what you're bringing to the live, and I said, oh, my mug's the wrong way. I said I was going to bring my turmeric latte, which I lied. Okay. I'm having a small cup. It's a very small cup of Elixir Smart Coffee. So where are you guys tuning in from, and what are you drinking? Hey, Christopher. It's 23:33 in Europe. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Hey, KM. All right. So what we're talking about today is human design truth. And the reason why I think this is a really important topic, there's a lot of reasons, but the reason I think it's a really important topic is because there is a lot of intensity out there in the world right now. And it does not let up. It appears to be pushing on the gas, right? It appears that things are getting more extreme, more intense, and more confusing. That's what it appears to me. Hey, Julia, you had a Cosmo with dinner? Awesome, on the East Coast. Thank you for sharing. I should have said Friday night Cosmo. I mean, that's the greatest. I love it. Very cool. So it's fun to spend some time together with the like-minded, if you ask me, because like I said, it's a crazy intense time. I'm trying to get my glasses so they're not reflecting, because it just depends on how I move, whether they reflect or not. All right, so where are you guys tuning in from? Give me a hello and where you're tuning in from and what you're drinking. And if you're listening to the recording, do the same. Just hit replay. I will comment on every comment the best I can. I usually will do that after the live. Sometimes once I start getting into the intel, I won't be looking at the comments as much. So if you're listening to the replay, we will dive into the intel in just a moment. So, hey, Lauren. It's early afternoon in Hawaii. Okay, so you may be like me, drinking a little bit of coffee. I'm having a smart coffee. This is a nootropic blend, and it's got so much stuff in here. Oh, my God. I've got the medicinal chaga mushrooms, ashwagandha, rhodiola root, and just incredible stuff. Oh my God, yeah, Christopher's got an amazing new project, his son Soda. Woohoo! Super exciting. Yeah. He's created his own soda line with a picture of his son on them. They're amazing. They're amazing. Check it out. Christopher Peters, if you guys haven't seen it yet. Really cool stuff. I wanted to try those mushrooms. Yeah, the chaga mushrooms and There's a lot of different types of blends, but really good for the immune system and keeping us really healthy. Vitamin B, water, and organ. Hey, Madeline. Awesome. Reishi. That's it. Reishi mushroom. Thank you, Vince. Thank you. It's like, it's so funny. I'll think of the name like 2 hours after I do the live. Okay, check out Christopher's link. He's got a new soda. It's coming out. So cool. All right. Hey, Alexandra. Yeah, the coffee mixture. I know. It's so good. Plus the nootropics for the dopamine. It's the smart coffee we use is, I'll put a link in there. But it's really, but we blend it together in the blender. So we put all of the stuff. We do some smart coffee and then we blend it with all of our stuff. But I'll share it with you guys. I think I've posted it on my personal page before, but if you're a projector, you kind of need a little extra boost. Hey, Diane, we met in Arizona during the, oh, I'm in Florida. It's dinner time, so I'm having dinner. Awesome. The BHW, awesome. Oh my God, Diane. Yeah, it's so good to see you. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here live. So let's dive into the intel for today. So the reason why I found it so important to talk about what's happening on the planet and why it's so important to use human design to navigate this time is because I was diving around on YouTube and I was looking for some meditations, and I stumbled upon someone who I really, really loved his work. And I was listening to his intel, and he had some really great things to say. And then he started talking about like the intensity around survival at this point, at this time in history. And some people are going into the survival mode thing. Like if you study human design, and part of Ra's prophecy was around survival, individual survival, and all of this. But if you look around right now, and no one knows what's going to happen in the future. Okay, we just don't know. But right now, yes, if you are sick, then of course your survival is threatened. But if you look around right now and you look at your home and you look at your, your situation, most people's survival isn't threatened at this moment. Okay. And so I was listening to this guy, and I'm not going to name any names, but I'm going to use it as a catalyst for this session today because I think it's so important. Is he was saying, you need to be smart. You need to be focused on your survival. And then he said, and if you have all those woo people around you. Now, this is somebody who is very successful in business. And so when people are successful in business, sometimes we immediately give them a free pass. Like, oh, they must be spiritual. They must be great leaders. They're very successful in business. And he talks a good talk around motivation and spiritual development. But he said, now, if you have a lot of those woo people around you, if they're looking at the spiritual aspects of what's going on, he said, they will hurt you. They are dangerous. I mean, he literally said this. And I was like, whoa, are you really going to put out into the world that spiritual people are dangerous? Because they may have a higher perspective of what's going on. I mean, yes, you want to be smart, but to put out in the world that spiritual people are dangerous, it really triggered me. Okay. Now I know that we're not supposed to trigger and get defensive or divisive right now, because that's what the world is pushing us to do. So the greater gift is to listen and be like, oh, okay, he's got a different opinion, and that's great. And in a way, I do feel that way, but it also made me want to come out to the community very powerfully and say that I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong. But what I'm saying is if you tell anybody what to do or how to think or how to believe, then what you're doing is that you're disempowering people to think for themselves. Some people need spiritual tools right now to get them through this. Some people need spiritual awakening in order to heal, in order to awaken. That's part of what's happening right now is spiritual awakening. So I also really think that the spiral dynamics intel is a really great way to kind of sort through like, oh, if someone's super successful, that means they're an orange in spiral dynamics. It doesn't mean that they're the next spiral up, which is actually green. And then the next spiral up from that is actually yellow. But then people actually do get stuck in yellow too, which is getting stuck in the intellect, which means that when you're stuck in the intellect, you can't see that people who are spiritually awake, turquoise or coral, they actually do transcend certain laws of physics. They actually do heal themselves. They actually do vibrate at frequencies that can overcome illness. Now, if you're in yellow or orange, that's going to be seen as absolute woo-woo talk, and it's going to look like people doing voodoo. Okay, so you have to understand where people are coming from and what they're saying, because there's so much misinformation right now and so much confusion. And what I feel very strongly about is that I want to empower each one of you with the knowing that your insight, your knowledge, your truth is what is awakening inside of you. And you have the power to know truth based on you. And everybody has a different truth. This is called the art of differentiation. This is what human design is all about. It's about finding out who you are, living as who you are, and then knowing how to discern all of the information coming out that's pointing you in a million different directions. Are you guys seeing that right now? It's just like everything you say, someone's going to argue. They're going to put a dissenting opinion. They're going to say, that's not right. Here's what's this. This isn't right. And then not only that, but they're going to unfollow you if they don't like what you're saying. And in a lot of ways, I do that too. I unfollow people all the time if they're not, if they're friggin' out there as far as their truth. And yes, I unfollow people. But the point is, I'm here to tell you is that right now we're living in a friggin' crazy time in history. And I do believe the tools that empower you, okay, are your friggin' individual empowerment and knowing who you are. And do not look outside of yourself for any friggin' person to guide you, because you will get confused and you will get wrapped in the chaos and you will get spun around and flown in a million different directions. So what I'm trying to say right now is I've been guided very powerfully, is that what I have, my gift at this time in history in my life, my greatest gift that people want from me is the human design insights that I've been gathering and gaining through my spiritual development, my awakening, and my process. And the reason why is this intel was downloaded in order to guide us through these times. And so the information was downloaded from the voice to guide us during the changing of the wheel. Okay, the changing of the wheel, the 2027, which is this wheel that is a 400-year cycle, and it is about personal development, empowerment, knowing who you are, knowing your truth of who you are, knowing your individuality, and then living by that vision of who you are, living by that vision of your own truth, and not letting anyone, even if you really respect them, you really respect their insight, not letting them throw you off. So when this guy said this, okay, so he was saying if you're too wooed, they will hurt you, whatever. It threw me for a minute. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm too woo. And then I was like, fuck that shit. Excuse my language. Wow, I just went there. I just said 3 bad words and said them out loud. Anyways, my point is that do not let anyone throw you off your dime. Okay. It is an empowerment. It is time to empower yourself, your own thinking. It is time to empower your fucking brilliance, your intelligence, your knowledge, your vehicle intelligence. Okay. This is where we're at right now. Now, if you guys have been doing some of my work, you know that I started going into a little bit of the advanced human design, motivation, PHS, your diet, your environment. All these things are so cool and I love them so much. And I'm not stopping. Okay, there are new courses coming out, BG5, PHS, all of that. But with all of that said, okay, there is something that I need to address, which is that we have to, I'm going to read all of the chats in just a minute. We have to make sure that we know the basics. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about for a moment. Why do we need to know the basics? Because what I'm seeing out there also is a lot of people who are just getting this little touch of human design and then they're literally deciding like, oh, I need to market it and sell it. And they're like selling human design. They haven't been certified. They don't know what they're doing and they're promoting it, even though they don't know it, nor have they been certified. And why is that dangerous? Well, it's not like it's dangerous or anything, but why doesn't that serve everyone? It doesn't serve to the highest that it should, because the whole point of human design is to awaken experiential learning through experience and not through just knowing the basics of it, the book smart of it. So in other words, when people told me I was a projector in human design, I was like, so like, you think I'm going to listen to that? Like, I got bills to pay and I got a lot of stuff to do. And so I heard it, but I didn't hear it, if you know what I mean. I heard it, but I didn't get it. And I then got certified because my life got more and more bitter, more and more people stealing my ideas, more and more burnout, more and more like everything I did, someone was like, that's a great idea. I think I'll do it. Stealing it right from underneath me happened over and over and over again. And then everything explained like, oh, that's because you are a projector. And so I then got certified and began teaching it. And then I went to my master teacher and he said, you have no idea how to live as a projector. I had already been certified and already been teaching it. And he was like, you have no idea how to live it. And I was like, what? And it shook me to my core. It was like an earthquake moment. He goes, you have no idea how to live as a projector. And I'm like, I don't, but I've been studying this and I'm certified and I'm teaching it. And he's like, no, you need to live it. Live it. And so what that means is that we have to friggin' put our mind in the back seat and become a passenger, which is a witness to what's going on. And then you allow your vehicle intelligence to rule the ship. When your vehicle intelligence moves you, you are aligning to what is correct for you. No one else. Not correct for him, not correct for the person who's talking, not correct for anyone else, but correct for you. For you. And I promise you that it's different than what's correct for Joe over there. Okay? When you align into who you are and you actually live this, okay, stuff, which basically is the teachings of the mystics. It is the teaching of the ancient philosophers of spiritual awakening, is that we are in some, there is a passenger consciousness that awakens truth. And that passenger consciousness, okay, and there's the inner authority and the outer authority. When the outer authority matches your inner authority, what you're going to appear as is more of an enlightened teacher. Or I shouldn't say teacher because not everyone's here to be a teacher, but more of an enlightened master of your life. Okay. And so what that means is that when you live your truth, you appear as a master. When you're following your mind or you're not self, or you're listening to other people and they're telling you what to do, you lose your vibration and frequency of power. Your power comes from you living as you. And this is across the board, no matter what your design is. When you live as you, you awaken your empowerment. And that is really what people need to be saying right now, is not follow me or I know the truth or listen to my wisdom. It's you have the wisdom inside of you, and I'm going to empower you to learn your own way, your own truth, your own wisdom. You know your way, and it's not through intuition, because not everyone is here to live your intuition. Okay. And that was a big aha for me too. Oh, I used to wait for the downloads, and like I'd get the download and then I'd be like, woo, okay, now I know what to do, and I'm on this and I'm going in this direction, and it would just fall apart again. And so when those downloads come, it's not to take action unless you're a manifester. They are the only ones who get the download and then they go and they do their friggin' thing. And how many manifestors do we have on this call right now or in the replay? Put manifestor. I have two amazing, sorry, I keep fixing my hair. I'm allowed to be a little girly, okay? It's just the truth. It's just the frigging truth. We have two amazing manifestors in our courses, and I love watching them because it's so fun to give them their power back. But not everyone is designed to be a manifester. So what does that mean? It means 90%. Angela, woo, manifester in the house. Is that Jen Fry? Oh my God. Jen, I love you. By the way, guys, Jen Fry, just as I just saw her on there and I just got excited. This is my one of my like dear friends from college who did my frigging tattoo. I would show it right now, but and she's just amazing. Thank you, Jen. I'm always impressed with your wisdom and your awareness, and right back at you. It's so fun to have you here. Okay. What if you can't tell the difference between what is right for you and what is not? Great question. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. Is that there's the basic of human design. There's a basic, okay, of human design, which is learning your strategy and your inner authority. Your strategy and your inner authority is only for you. Now, obviously, human design is super complicated, and it's a study that is an intellectual study, like, you know, any other study. But it's also infinitely complex and infinitely simple. Okay, so there's a complexity to it, and there's also a simplicity to it. And the simplicity is you need to learn your strategy and your inner authority. And what happens is you separate your mind from your vehicle intelligence. Your vehicle intelligence is your inner authority. So what I want to empower each and every one of you today is to learn how to live your truth. Live in your vehicle intelligence. And guess what? Your vehicle intelligence is not your mind. And we are all conditioned to believe that the mind knows everything, that the intellect is the thing to rest your hat on. And we give our intellect so much power. It is the God that we have been praying to for the last 400 years. Okay. And it has 100% pulled us out of caveman times, for sure. But we are evolving. And so we're evolving now, and we'll be evolving into the solar plexus awareness, which is basically more of an emotional awareness, right? As our leading edge of awareness. But what human design is saying is that we are all individuals. And so we have an individual way of strategizing our life and an individual way of listening to our inner authority. And if you think you know yours, check again, because it is about really living it and really learning what it means to wait, unless you're a manifester. And we have Angela here, who's one who's not here to wait, but there is a difference. Okay. And so you need to learn your basics and you need to live it. Now, why is it so hard to live it? Well, I'll tell you why. Because your mind you're addicted to your mind. It's far more intense than just like, oh, my mind's talking. No, you are addicted to your not self themes. You are addicted to your mind telling you what to do. Your mind is ruled by the collective and by the conditioning of the planet. So the mind is going to tell you, you know what? If you don't do this, you're going to lose all your money. You need to get a job. You need to do A, B, and C. And if you don't do that, then you will fail. You will do everything wrong, or whatever your mind is conditioned to tell you. So the crazy talk of the mind is what is our suffering and what is leading us in the wrong direction. So I'm looking at all of the choices I didn't make leading up to this pandemic. I almost bought like a property. I almost went into an investment with a friend that would have been completely destroyed at this point. There were so many things I could have done when I left my corporate career and like didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I was doing, and like went total bankrupt and had a total chaos in my life when I found out I was a projector. And then Davidian, my partner, who's like, you're a projector, that's why all this is happening to you. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And because I was so bitter, because I had failed at so many things and I've been projected on, because I'm a 5, any other 5s here, you're projected on. And it just explained my whole life to such an extreme degree. I was like, okay, I'm going to study it. So I studied it. And then the next thing that happened was I was willing to live it. So everybody here on the call right now, if you're willing to live it, put in a yes in the comments. I'm willing to experiment and live it. The first thing I'm here to do for you is inspire you to live it. 2-5 here, yes. So projector here, yes. So, but here's the thing, even if you're a manifesting generator, it's not easy to live. Why? Because the first part of a manifesting generator is wait. Okay. If you're a manifesting generator, you may be lightning in a bottle. Maybe you've burned yourself out in so many different directions that you're at a standstill. I see that with a lot of manifesting generators. Okay. So you have to learn to wait. Now that is really hard to do. You also have to learn that your mind is going to tell you not to wait. Your mind is going to tell you to take action. So what I want to do today is build this community, and everybody here who's in this community. And by the way, thank you for the likes in the video. It really is awesome. I did your chart at one point, Jen. I'm going to have to redo it for you. You should email me your information. So I can redo your chart. But basically what you need to do is understand that in order to really embody this shiz, you got to frigging live this stuff. And it is the path of the warrior. It is the path of the warrior. Okay? It is the path of the mystic. It is not a book that you can read. It's not. You have to embody it. Okay. Now, everybody's inner authority is totally different. And you need to be willing to decondition out of whatever you've been conditioned. So the sacral inner authority is conditioned to answer questions, to not use their sounds. Okay. And the emotional inner authority is conditioned to push their emotions down. Don't feel that. That's too much, right? So whatever you've been conditioned, it's opposite of your truth. And that's for every single person. We're all conditioned to be opposite. So I was conditioned to be a manifesting generator. And if you knew me, I was a hustler. I manifested a million things. I was faster than I did. I mean, yes, I was living as a manifesting generator. And that is the complete opposite of what I was here to do. And when I decided to take on the experiment and wait, it was excruciating. It took months of waiting. What do you do during those months? Well, you watch your mind go freaking nuts and spiral out of control. And right now we're in a spiral out of control. So if your mind is not trained, it's going to be uncomfortable. So the other part of this that I teach is about learning how to dedicate and have discipline with your mind and your thinking. Okay. So that means meditating. It means stepping outside in nature and communing with the trees, not the freaking TV and not the news. Okay. Even though, look, I binge watch stuff all the time. I'm not going to say I don't. I'm not going to say I don't watch frigging YouTube videos and all that, because I do. But what I'm trying to say is that we have to also take the time to stand out in nature and connect in with the trees and the earth and watch your mind in silence. What is your mind saying? Well, I can guarantee you what it's saying and what it's playing out is you're not self-theme. So all of your undefined centers, they're talking to you in your mind. And they're saying things like, you're not good enough, or you don't know what you're doing, or you've never been able to do that, or you blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing about my mind is that it's freaking tricky. My mind, and I'm not going to say what your mind does, but my mind is incessant. And it's so tricky and it's so subtle. So like I'll be meditating and part of my mind, I'll have like 3 different minds going. And part of my mind will be like, oh, I'm meditating and I'm aligning and I'm doing visualization. And then another part of my mind will be playing out a conversation I had with my sister yesterday. Oh yeah, and then when she said, blah, 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 blah. And then, God, why didn't I say that to her? And I'll have like 3 different conversations going on. So everybody's minds are very intense for you and whatever your mind does. Now, Davidian is totally different. His mind, the way it operates, is totally different than mine, and I'm sure yours is too. Okay, but the point is you've got to be diligent with where it's taking you. You've got to be diligent with the spirals it's taking you in. And then the other level is, I talked about spiral dynamics, and now I'm going to bring in another concept, which is quantum physics, which is the fact that our minds take us into different states of brain waves, brain states, right? And we affect our reality. So we have alpha, we have beta, we have theta and gamma states. And we've shown through science that when you awaken into gamma, into theta, which means your body moves into a coherence. When you move into a coherence, there are spontaneous healings that happen, spontaneous awakenings, spontaneous healings. But it takes time, it takes a dedication, and it takes a discipline. Now, it also takes a discipline to live your design. And I believe the missing piece to my puzzle was learning my design. After studying so much about, all kinds of spiritual concepts and tools and shamanism. And I had many, many teachers, and I got my master's degree in spiritual psychology. I went through tons and tons of counseling, and learning I'm a projector, that I have an undefined solar plexus, changed the game for me. Okay, so here's the thing. Type in the chat what you need. I'm going to be, we have a ton of introduction videos, so I will let you guys know your intro video, meaning what is your inner authority? What is your strategy? We need to do some videos on profile, which we have actually, I have one that is private, that if you're on this call and you want it, and if you're listening to the replay, just put profile, so that that's whether you're a 1, a 5-1 or 1-3 or whatever, just put profile in the chat, and I will give you an unlisted video from my last class, so you guys can begin that process of learning that as well. But the most important thing is strategy and inner authority. So put in your strategy and inner authority, and she seems to be ignoring us projectors. No, I'm not. I promise you. I am simply, I haven't gone through the chats yet. But I promise you, I'm not ignoring. I love I'm a projector. You know that, right? You know that. I am a projector. It's just that it's hard for me to read all of the chats as they're coming through when I'm frequenting. Okay, so okay guys, cool, thank you for putting that in the chat. And so Heartsea Heart History Resin Designs when you can put your question in again if I missed it. So if you have a question that I missed in the chat, you can go ahead and put it again, and I'll try and catch them. Sacral authority. Okay, so what I have now is a commitment from you guys to actually live this stuff. And so what that means is it's only a 7-year commitment. So for the next 7 years, you guys are committing. They say that it takes 7 years to decondition. But here's the thing, is that we are in 2020. Okay, so human design says it takes 7 years to decondition. We are in 2020. So what does that mean? We have 7 years until we move into the new turning of the wheel. So I'm telling you guys, this intel will change your life. It will change how we mutate. It will change how we deal with the calamities at hand. And I do think, especially according to human design, that things are going to fall apart even more, a little bit more. Okay. And so what you need to learn how to do is what is correct for you. And you need to learn how to follow your own inner authority and decondition from the mind. That is a power journey in itself. That is a power journey to awaken. And this is what I'm going to guide you on. And this is what I'm going to support this community with. However deep you want to go with this rabbit hole, you are welcome to go. You are welcome to go as deep as you want to go. So what I want to do is I'm going to first give those, I'm going to give some profile videos that we have just for our groups, our private clients. And I'm also going to give you guys your strategy and your inner authority so that you can take this on and you can begin to live it. And I promise you, even if you've been studying this stuff for a long time, living it is another dimension. It's another dimension. You know this if you've had a spiritual awakening, right? If you've had any type of spiritual awakening, you know there's a difference between reading a book and then having an awakening, right? You know this. And it's the same with human design. Oh, Cam, splenic projector. Woo, woo. 6'2". Okay, good. Good. So, hey, honey. Mwah, I love you. So if you guys have a question, did you have a question, Heartistry? It's funny, those people on YouTube, their YouTube names come up, so you don't know their first name. So if you have a question, though, go ahead and type it in the chat. I'll take some questions. If I missed your chat, I apologize. I wasn't trying to ignore my projectors. I promise you. Projectors, we get so whiny. Projectors have it the hardest, guys. So if you're a projector on here, believe me, I totally then stop the complaining. Exactly. You got to stop the complaining. We do have the hardest, right? But we do complain. We do complain a lot because nobody recognizes us. So if you're a projector and I missed one of your chats, I apologize. Okay. Straight up. I straight up apologize. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yes. So, great question. So I found out I was a projector when, I was working for corporate, and I knew that it was time for me to move on. And I decided to buy a brick and mortar raw vegan juice bar for passive income, which, by the way, owning your own juice bar is not passive. It's like 17 or 18 hours a day from passive income. And I kept getting this, Davidian kept saying, you're a projector. And so, I realized that my life was not working, and I had tried everything. I had been going to therapy for years. I had, like I said, studied everything. I've done every single self-help. I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching and spiritual healings, and I have a shamanic teacher. I've really been a seeker, which it also has to do with the fact that I have an open head. Open head, sometimes they're seeking for information they'll never find out. So basically, I decided that nothing else worked and that I was going to take on the experiment. And I decided that I was going to live this stuff, and I was going to learn how to live as a projector. And so it was really because my life started falling apart. I was, my business that I had done, it was like 18 hours a day. And I knew I couldn't do it as a projector. I knew I couldn't. And I literally one day I just said, you know what, let the chips fall where they may. And I left that business and I stayed home and I just stopped going in. And luckily I sold it. And I did have a lot of financial situations from it. But my new business began to birth as I was able to let go and learn who I was and wait for recognition and learn how to follow this stuff. But I think there was a couple of levels and layers to it, which were, understanding who I am. And then as far as the book, like reading it, studying it, getting certified. And then there was another deeper level where I went to actually living it. So right now we have our monthly calls, which our next Friday, we have our next monthly call where we're doing motivation. Motivation is a part of human design that is really, really useful for projectors particularly, but for everyone. It's a really beautiful deep dive into how you're motivated. And so those we do once a month, and you're welcome to join in to those live calls. They're for our community. If you're interested in that, you just need to email support@raquelreina.com, and we'll give you more details on that. And would you think that grad school and becoming a counselor made sense as a projector or becoming an entrepreneur? Would that just burn projectors out? It is. No, I don't think it does burn you out when you enter it correctly. So in other words, my business now, I have a lot of energy because I'm recognized, I'm invited, people want to hear what I have to say. And so it gives you energy and it gives you that purpose. It's just when you're pushing to make something happen that's not correct for you. So the spiritual psychology, I think that was invited as well. And I think I learned a lot, but I think I would have learned a lot more if I had known I was a projector when I went into that experience. So I do think that, and all of my clients will say that learning the basics of human design makes every other teaching make sense, because then you can distill it. So you can be like, oh, that works for me. That doesn't, that's for them. And it kind of helps. If I knew anything about human design when I did my master's degree, I would have had a far greater understanding of myself and what I was processing. And a lot of what I was processing were other people's stuff, as well as my not self theme. Okay. So it's a really interesting thing. Oh, thank you, honey. Hey, Jen, it's amazing to have followed even from a distance your journey. Thank you. Yeah, wow. Life has been intense since our UCR days. Yeah. So, thank you, Jen. God, it's so fun to see you. Not that I see you, but I feel you. You should be able to be a counselor if people come to you for help. Yeah, so that's right. So as, I teach human design, I also teach counseling as well. I do integrate a lot of different tools, spiritual tools and human design and counseling. I kind of integrate all of them. And this is just from my own personal work that I do that. But we all have our own unique gifts that we're here to give the world, right? And we're here to provide, and we're here to serve, and we're here to, whatever it is your gifts are, right, is what you're here to do. So so this is my big inspiration for you guys today, is to take on the experiment. Let me know how it goes. Email me at support@raquelreina.com if you're interested in the certification program or joining us next week. Next Friday, we do our motivation call. So you're invited to come in and join in. I'm trying to decide between coach or counselor, one employed, one is entrepreneurship. So the most important thing is to not decide with the mind, but to make sure that you're deciding with your inner authority. If your mind is like trying to make a list or trying to figure out what's correct for you or what direction, and it's not like if you're a projector, you should be this, or I mean, yes, projectors are here to guide. They are natural leaders and here to lead, guide, and direct. That is what we're here to do, particularly for the new 2027. But it's not like cut and dry. It's not like, oh, you're an MG, so you should be a blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. You have to follow your inner authority. Yes, so you have to follow your inner authority first, and it will guide you to what is correct for you. And each person needs to listen to their own inner guidance, their own inner empowerment. And so that is why that is my biggest message for you today, is that when we look out into the sea, and if you, and by the way, I'm going to go through all of the chats. I'm not going to go through them all right now. And I am going to provide you guys with some videos and some tools to get started in this. But the most important thing that I wanted to get through to you today is that I was, scrolling, and I'm sure many of you are as well. You're watching the news. We don't know who to believe. There's so much dissenting information. There's so much pain in the world right now, chaos, confusion. And in the center of your truth is your own empowerment, and it knows what's right. It knows what's right for you. It knows what direction to go to. And if your mind is triggered and it's telling you that person, blah, 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 and it's talking, that is your not self. Okay, so that is the distinction I want to make. When you're in the zone and you're moving, that is more aligned with your truth. And so when you're recognized and you're invited, if you're a projector, so Teeny Hands Tarot, if you are recognized and you are invited, that's going to be the right direction for you. And you will know if you're recognized for who you are. You'll start knowing that you're being recognized for your truth. So people recognize me sometimes, but you know that they don't see all of me. They may recognize a part of me, or they may see something, but they don't see the spiritual shaman in me or something. So I know they're not fully seeing me. So you want to know who you are. You want to know your truth so that you know when you're recognized. The generators and manifesting generators, you need to wait to respond, and you need to get really good at that. You need to learn how to watch the synchronicities. You need to wait. You need to learn what waiting is. There's an art to it. Okay. And there is a zone to it, and it is never controlled by fear or by your mind telling you what to do. My manifestors, yes, you download, you inform, and you move forward. If I have a reflector in here, I love you. And you are here to taste and sample, and it might be intense for you right now, but your job is important. Okay, so make sure you let me know. Yes, you will. You will, Teeny Hands Tarot. Just, so like I said, put it in the chat. I'll send you guys some videos that you can begin the process to kind of go through the experiment. Commit. If you commit, so if you really commit and say, you know what, I'm willing to listen to my design, you will be surprised how many opportunities you have to really follow it. You will be surprised how many opportunities. So for example, when I found out I was a projector, I cannot tell you how many opportunities I had to experience bitterness. And bitterness is very uncomfortable. So if you're a generator or manifesting generator, you'll have many of opportunities to feel frustration. Like you'll feel frustrated and you'll be like, okay, now I get what Raquel was talking about. Now I kind of understand this, right? When you feel bitter, and bitterness is particular for a projector, anger for our manifestors, and frustration for our generators. When you feel those things, you will have big lessons where all of a sudden you'll get a shock that like, it's time to live my design. I can't mess around with my mind saying, if I don't do that, I'm going to fail. If I don't do this, I'm going to lose. If I don't do this, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. So do not look outside of yourself. Do not look for guidance. Do not look for a psychic to tell you what to do. If you have coaching, great. I love coaching, but don't let them tell you what to do. Let them empower you that you know what to do. And if they're not doing that, then take what you can from them, but don't listen all the way, because only you know what's right for you. Only you know the truth. And as we're watching this world go through its unfolding craziness, what is calm and safe is being centered in your truth. Okay, that is what feels correct. So follow your empowerment. I love you guys. I'm so honored and so grateful to have you part of my community. If you're watching on YouTube, give it a like. I really appreciate it. If you're in our Facebook group, then you guys know I'm there every single day to support you. If you're not in our Facebook group, join in. Spiritualized Entrepreneurs Awakening to Their Next Level. Me and Davidian like to go in there and support you guys and give feedback. And just have fun also for as a community to support and talk and, you know, support each other. So, yeah, so we have a lot of teeny hands. I have a great projector video on career, and that will really help you as well. But you will, you know, when you don't know what's right for you, it's true. And as a self-projected projector, you do need to kind of have a sounding board. But we have some videos on that too, which will help you. So thank you guys. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you all for being here. Again, I'm so grateful for you guys and for this community. And I will definitely try and provide you guys with some extra videos and some insights, because really I'm here to serve, and really I'm here to share this intel so that we are all empowered to live our truth. So have an amazing Friday night. Enjoy your wine, your Cosmo, your tea, your coffee. And I will see you guys in the next live, or I will see you in the Facebook group. Hey, Jen, don't forget to email me, support@raquelreina.com. All right, guys. Bye, Christopher. Good to see you. I'll see you on Monday in our class, or Tuesday. You're wonderful. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see you. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great Friday night. Mwah. I love you guys.